Fellas, welcome back to Montreal. I drove up here an hour ago, and we're still like hours before doors. And you know that 21 Pilots is in town, and not just in Montreal. Like anywhere you go, fans are always camping. They're staying literally like days in advance. I heard that in Winnipeg they had to open doors super early because they didn't want fans camping out. Even when you're having a bad day, you look out and you see that the fans have been there for hours. That's got to pump you up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We wouldn't be here right now if it weren't for them. And we wouldn't be a band, I guess, if it wasn't for them. Because otherwise we would just be sitting in a garage or something with our instruments, which would still be fun, but they make this what it is.
If we're ever having a bad day, we just look out there and we're like, hey, at least we're not camping on cement.
That's also true.
Well, with a lot of power comes a lot of responsibility. And for a lot of these kids, you guys are like the Save My Life band, right? Like, you're not just a band to them. You're the band that, like, they'll decipher all the lyrics, and they will literally say that if it wasn't for you guys, they might not still be around. That's got to be a bit of added pressure, no?
Yep.
I do think since we started playing music, anybody who would come to our shows, it's a layer of accountability for us as people. And some artists can fall on either side of like not caring at all, that people look up to them. But you cannot. I think there is a way where you can let it affect you too much, possibly. So I think that we try to realize that there are people that, I guess, like look up to the music and the band, and that is accountability. But we try to just stay the same guys that we've always been.
Can you relate to these kids? Like, when you were growing up, who would you camp out for?
Nobody.
If Josh had been in a band,
You would have camped out.
I would have camped out for his band.
Now, I understand that the way that some of your more hardcore fans like will look at everything literally affected the way that you created Trench, and they helped create this world that you put on record. If it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for the people camping, you think you would have had a different album?
No, they definitely affected ultimately what was created. I think that when we were making the record, we were very intentional about trying to keep everything blocked out, trying to get back to that place where we were when we first started working on music, when we first were a band. And in those days, we made for us. We made what we thought sounded good, what we wanted to say. And then all of a sudden, we wake up and people are listening, and then it threatens the innocence of creating something purely for yourself. You have to be aware that it is affecting other people, that other people are listening at that point. And there's actually a lot of pressures and outside influence that can creep its way into the songwriting process and into recording and creating a record. And even though we blocked out pretty much all of it, the one thing we did let creep in was our fans, was what they're expecting, what they want us to kind of continue talking about, the story, maybe some of the themes, things that we've related with them already. Why throw those away?
Yeah.
I think a lot of bands tend to feel like they need to reinvent themselves every single record so dramatically that they show up in their new era and they seem like different people almost. And you don't want to abandon what it is that you already created as a connection with your fans. At the same time, never feeling afraid to challenge your fans or challenge each other to grow and make something different. So it's really a balance between those two things.
Right. I don't have a lot of fear of missing out, but I think the one show in Montreal that I regret not seeing is back in 2016. You guys had a 2-night stay in Montreal. You were playing the Metropolis. It was like 2,200 seater. Just the energy from that show and everything that came out of social media made everyone go like, oh, why weren't you there? Now, 2,200 seater, it would have been like in the Blurry Face era where you started with small rooms, medium rooms, grew to arenas. How do you take that energy and that intimacy that you were able to put together in these rooms into an arena like the Bell Center here?
That's a good question. It is a little difficult to perform the same. I mean, there's logistic reasons why you can't perform the same. A lot of times in the smaller clubs, you literally have a conversation with the person down in front of you, like, how are you? And everyone can hear them say, I'm doing well. And that you can you can build off that. You can almost go back and forth on that. Now, in an arena setting, you can't really have that back and forth. We've also noticed that even if we have some sort of narrative plan or we want to communicate something or say something on stage in front of 10,000 people, we are constantly being influenced by the front pit, the first few rows. And whether or not it's working or if they can hear what we're talking about, whatever information we get on how well we're doing usually comes from that section. And the bigger the shows, the more that section is purely focusing on just staying alive and not getting crushed by other people. So we find ourselves wanting to yell louder or to maybe over-communicate something, or maybe to forget about communication altogether because we notice everyone down there is not really paying attention because they're crushed, by it's hot, it's sweaty, you have to survive. It's just a part of the experience of being in the pit. But we have to realize as a performer, there's this whole other layer of people that are in the seated section that are further back, that even though we aren't getting, what we're saying isn't really bouncing off of them and getting all the way back to us, they're still hearing what we're saying. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of a small thing that we learned as we started playing in bigger rooms, is to try not to lose that intimacy, even though it feels like chaos.
And then in a couple of weeks, you'll be in Quebec at the Festival d'été in front of even thousands more of people.
What did you say?
Festival d'été de Québec.
I didn't get it again.
The festival. It's a festival.
The Festival.
Festival d'été de Québec. You guys are playing there on July 7th. It's like 2 hours east.
de Québec.
Yeah, you got a few weeks to learn that.
De Québec.
But
and I'm supposed to say that from stage.
Festival d'été de Québec. Nous sommes 21 pilots.
Festival d'été de. Ah man, all right, I'll work.
Festival
d'été de Québec. Quebec.
July 7th.
July 7th.
Don't.
I know those words.
Put that in your agenda. Don't miss it. Anyways, over there will be like 50,000 people, so we'll have to take that answer and multiply it. I want to play a little game with you guys.
Let's do it.
If you guys are willing.
Yeah.
With these like super high-tech signs that we've put together.
Okay.
On one side there's Josh. On one side there's Tyler. You recognize yourself.
Yeah.
Between the two of you, who messes up the most often on stage?
I think.
Easily.
All right, you agree on that.
I think I have one job. He is a lot.
Thanks.
To be fair, I feel like there's more opportunity for him to mess up. So.
Between the two of you, who has the longest routine to get ready before a show? Why is that?
My hair.
Oh, right. Yeah,
know.
of course. Who between the two of you is the most likely to one day become an actor?
I don't know. Like a stunt driver?
Does that count as acting?
Sure.
I don't want to act.
Who most often picks the music on the bus?
Ooh.
What's your go-to?
Well, a lot of times I'll just put on a playlist or something. But I think when we say it all the time, but Death Cab for Cutie is a good, just kind of easy listening, enjoyable experience.
I just walked into his green room a little bit ago, and he was listening to jazz music.
There you go.
He's always got something on.
Who's the better cook?
Neither of us really cook.
Yeah, I would go with like nothing.
Neither. Which of the two most needs the coffee first thing in the morning?
Coffee? Well, he doesn't drink coffee.
I don't drink
Well,
coffee.
that's an easy
I
one.
drink coffee.
Which of the two is most likely to forget the city they're currently in?
Tyler.
Yeah?
It's true. You see that cliche in a TV show or a commercial, wherever the lead singer forgets where he is. I remember seeing that
On The Simpsons.
or wherever. It's a common thing to joke about. But you look at that, you're like, there's no way. That doesn't make sense. There's no way he doesn't know where he is right now. And listen, most of the time I do. And when I say most, I'm talking 99.95% of the time I know where I am. But it's that 0.05% of me that's a little unsure that I just want a reminder. Just please remind me. Sometimes I'll go into the microphone that just goes to Josh's ear, and I'll be like, hey, can you tell me where I am one more time?
Well, you guys are in Montreal tonight, and I want to wish you a great show, especially that in a few weeks you're going to be in
Quebec.
Yeah, Festival d'été de Québec.
There you go! Thanks, guys.
Something like that.